Don't let anything restrict you and allow yourself to diminish your own shine here. You know, Saturn wants you to shine, but he wants you to actually be very disciplined and understand. I mean, Saturn retrograde wants you to decondition the conditioning, okay? And also get stronger, because Saturn really wants you. Saturn's the energy that wants to teach you who you are, so you can be who you are with strength, with confidence. And this energy, Saturn, will break you down. I mean, it will throw things up in your face synchronistically that humiliate you so much, because it wants you to get tough skin, you know, have strong bones, grow a backbone if you don't have one, if you know what I mean. And it makes perfect sense here. And also, you know, with these nodes involved, this is definitely an evolutionary lesson here for the soul. It's time the soul is communicating, and also certain relationships, because the first house and the seventh house dynamic is who you are, how to individuate yourself from your partner, someone you're very closely affiliated with, and also a shadow side of yourself. And it also wants you to distinguish your own self-value and get out of any power dynamics, you know, Scorpio. It wants you to get some boundaries around the soul merging. And also with Taurus, be a little more, because it's the North Node and Uranus, a little more innovative with your ability to self-contain and your ability to be self-sufficient here. Because ultimately it wants you to be strong in the world and create structure around who you are, so that you can free yourself, liberate yourself, not live in the shadow of somebody else, or live in the shadow of the past, or live in the shadow of, you know, who your family conditioned you to be growing up. You know, all that's dead and gone and over. You know, it's time to kind of edging your way to move into the future and allow any kind of stigma or conditioning from the past and your upbringing. Let it be that. Let it allow you to give you the tough skin that you need to create who you are authentically. And you can work on furthering your self-value, your resourcefulness, and be able to self-contain your own independence, Uranus, with relationships and with your shadow side as well, using it in a healthy manner that can be liberating and that can free you and present freedom and give you some more authenticity to your life. So that's what I'm getting from the T-square. And the new moon is going on in Leo, which rules your 10th house. And, you know, with the Saturn retrograde, let me go back to that with this T-square, the release point being in Leo. Your 10th house is what you do also externally out in the world, you know. You're capable of much more. If you are limiting yourself, or you're in that kind of situation where you're settling, just know that you could do a lot more with this release point. That Saturn has been moving through your 4th house, and it's in retrograde right now. That it has its square aspects to the nodes here in your 1st and your 7th house, with Taurus ruling your 7th house with the North Node conjunct Uranus, liberation, freedom, innovation. And, you know, the release point being in your 10th house with Leo, you're capable of much more, and you can do it. You can find the courage to, you know, be out in the external and secure a certain kind of job, or certain kind of status. And it's not to, this is something that is going to be something that works for you, but also benefits the collective in a major way too. Because we can't forget about, you know, Neptune retrograding in the sign of Pisces, which is your 5th house. So by you doing so, you know, the 10th house is already going out into the external, and it's the job you do, and it's your service back to the world through your own skills, talents, you know, and who you are. And it's what you are, you know, it's on the top of your chart, your midhaven. So also, you know, this T-square is just kind of revving up the energy for you to, you know, really rise to the challenges of this energy and integrate the lessons with it so it can liberate you in the external. And then in retrospect, you can see how your value is showcased back to you through the response of the external world, kind of just shedding the old. So that was my train of thought on that. So it's the new moon happening again in your 10th house, and it's making, or Jupiter 8 degrees in the sign of Aries, which rules your 6th house, is making a trine over. So, you know, again, Jupiter here, it's a very spiritual sign. It's a very spiritual planet that, you know, synchronistically can give you signs, because it's like a magnifying glass wherever it is. And in the 6th house, this is it's going to open up, you know, a whole focus on service here, the 6th house. And it's like, what is the service you're doing? Your time and energy you're spending in a routine manner that is giving back, that is medicinal for the external. You know, just a little here, a little there, but also, you know, the new moon is a new intention, planting a new seed, and you could really think about, you know, the 10th house. What do you want to initiate here? You know, the sign of Leo, you could really get in charge of externalizing some sort of new career path, moving up, or something new that you're doing out externally that requires leadership, that could be creative, that can inspire others, you know, to march at the beat of their own drum, whatnot. And it could have something to do with a spiritual connotation to it. You know, you could be some sort of spiritual teacher, or you could teach people how to open up, or a motivational, some sort of motivational speaker here. Because, you know, with Jupiter here, and it being in the sign of Aries, ruling over your 6th house, this is something that is helping you to initiate who you are, a new self of identity. And because of the mercurial energy going on, you know, with the full moon here, and all the aspects that we were talking about in regards to the full moon. Let's say perhaps that, you know, with the sign of Aries, you could coach how to be more spiritually attuned, let's say, with something creative, or spiritually attuned, or be some sort of teacher of, you know, exercise or wellness. You know, Aries, you know, the sixth house, it could have something to do with some sort of physical action, exercise, and incorporating or tying in some sort of spirituality with it. So if we think sixth house, Aries, Jupiter, you know, trining over the new moon in Leo in your 10th house, a creative way to incorporate exercise. Sixth house as a medicinal practice, Jupiter. Aries, a physical workout, and also with Jupiter, it could be like yoga or some sort of meditation practice, or, you know, Pilates or Tai Chi or something. And going over to the 10th house in Leo, use it as a creative way, or do it as far as a leadership where you could manage this type of school setting, or, you know, this type of ideology or this exercise regimen, and make it a job. So that's just an example, this energy. And that's what I'm picking up from it. So now with that being said, I'll go ahead and go to the tarot. And I'm going to pull 12 cards from my tarot deck and kind of communicate some of the messages that come to me from Spirit. And also I'll look at a color that stands out to me and give an oracle message from that to close the tarot horoscope read. And we have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. And then we have the Six of Wands upright. So let's look at the cards a little. Then we have the Magician card. And then we have the Ten of Wands. So far, you know, what I'm getting from is whatever is going on outside of the astrology, or you can even tie in the astrological energy of the new and the full moon, of course, because that is very prevalent. However, this message, this extra message from Tarot, Spirit, you know, Knight of Pentacles is kind of slowing down because there's some balance that needs to be gained here in order for you to manifest and work with some of the skill set and skill levels that you have in your handbag, your trick bag, okay? Pulling them out and kind of mastering them so you can kind of try on different hats and see what works for you, because this is a very flexible time for a career, because you're going through this evolutionary process of self-identifying and finding a more authentic you to put out into the world, you know, regarding third house, fifth house, ninth house, 10th house, you know, all of these houses that are external and that kind of make you, not kind of, but help you to evolve into someone who is, help you evolve into a more authentic self. And it involves work and career and the external. Okay, and we have the Ten of Wands here. So it's like this energy, it's like whatever you have going on here, it's going to be from some experience that has already been gained, either in a past life, or that some sort of action, or I say action because it's wands, but it's something that has been, it's some energy that has already been that has culminated into some sort of mastery. Okay, and you could, you know, apply it to skill or something that you can do, you've already mastered. So you have that you have the 10 of Wands energy to just kind of reassure you of your capabilities. You know, whatever you choose to do. You just need to really slow down. Don't rush into anything, because you already have it here, and you're capable, you know, of doing multiple things here with the Magician, but there needs to be a sense of balance. So just be aware of that, because you don't want to burn out. Like, you don't want to take on too much that you can't handle, so to say, or commit to too much that you can't fulfill, because this is some busy energy as well, the 10 of Wands. And moving into the Moon card here, I don't know, what I'm picking up here is in the Tower, definitely for you Scorpio, there's this huge clearing out of things that don't work regarding emotions here and intuitive responses. This is like with the Tower and the Moon, to me, moving into this energy, what I'm picking up on is there is, you know, some of the emotions that you experience definitely have to be cleared out here, cleansed out. It needs to culminate and be released for your own good, because you can't, some of these emotional tendencies, and I'm hearing emotional reactions, must be acknowledged here, honored, but also released. The Page of Wands, because it's as if you're not able to healthily express some of the turbulence, so they just have to be cleared out in order for you to gain a clear sense of your emotions. This is just your emotional powers, we'll say, are going through a process, cleansing, purification process. Whatever hasn't worked that caused a lot of turbulence, you're getting a handle on. And the Page of Wands in reverse, it's happening very subtly. However, you're experiencing a little bit of difficulty making a little bit of the adjustments. And then we have the Empress, the 7 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Wands in reverse. So it's like you already embody this energy, you know, here with the Empress, of knowing your worth and your value. But it's almost like with the Page of Wands in reverse, with all of this going on, you kind of talk yourself down in a way, you know? And I think the reason for that is because you're just so used to the emotional intensity that you